Today is a very impromptu, unscripted video. I'm just going to be walking you through a website launch that I'm going to be performing this Monday morning. The background on this project is that the client actually came to me after watching one of these YouTube videos. I was working with the client who is the owner of an architecture firm in northern Florida, so the Jacksonville metro area. This was a really cool project because although I have worked with several other architecture firms at this point in my career, and I do really enjoy working with these types of companies, this one was unique in the sense that the client focused on a much more southern design style. This is something I was not at all exposed to before. This was a very interesting project from that perspective, and the client has also been very easy to work with. Now, in terms of the website itself, it's actually a very simple website. So we're only dealing with a one-page site here. That's going to be the homepage, along with, in this case, a portfolio section. So there's actually 13 or 14 additional portfolio projects that are linked on the homepage, as you'll see shortly. It's all connected to the Webflow CMS. This client actually hasn't had a website up to date till this point, even though she's been in business for about 20 or so years. So because of this, the launch process is going to be much simpler and more streamlined than it would be if we were migrating over from a different website on a different platform. Because of that, it should be relatively straightforward, I am thinking, but of course, those are often famous last words. I do want to at least show you what the website looks like ahead of time. So without further ado, let's take a quick look at that right now. All right, guys, so this is the website as you can see here on my desktop monitor. We have this hero video section that auto plays. It loops through 5 or 6 different project videos. Then it has this cool parallax effect out, so it's always zooming out. Then we just have some fast facts about the client. We have a professional headshot along with some background on the firm. You'll notice here there's like a texture. Not sure if you can see that, but I'll probably do a more in-depth screen share later. Then we get right to the different portfolio projects, which as you can see, fade in here. Then one thing to note is that the client had invested all these years in some excellent professional photography. So that is always super helpful when it comes to projects like this. Now, these are the project types that the client works on, mainly new residential construction and then renovations and additions. So that is highlighted here. We're calling out exactly to potential prospects on the website exactly the types of projects we work on, and thus she can then determine if they are going to be able to be a good fit for them. Now, these are the testimonials. These are connected to the back end of the Webflow CMS, and then I use the FinSuite CMS slider to connect it here. So this way in the future, it'll be very easy for my client to update that. Then we have the different styles the client has worked in. So again, very like Southern design focus in terms of low country, arts and crafts, Florida cracker, but then the client also does a lot of contemporary work as well. Then we have some details here about the process. You'll see I was actually clicking around a lot before this. This is actually my second time filming it, so that's why it's a little out of place here in different areas. But then we have like a volunteer section, just kind of showcasing how the client is actively involved in the community, some FAQs, then a CTA, and then because it's a one-page website, we have a modal pop-up for the consultation. So this is supposed to be actually very helpful for conversions, and that's accessible anywhere on the website, even on the navigation. As you can see, it's a very simple one-page website, nothing too crazy. Again, the portfolio CMS I'll look at later on today. But yeah, now basically it is 10 a.m. Monday morning. This is exactly when I told the client I would be getting started with the launch process here. Hopefully you find this one entertaining in some form or fashion, but I'm also going to aim to stop and explain some of the concepts when it comes to launching this website here. So actually, if you take a look, I'm gonna pull up my Basecamp right here, and you can see, flipping the camera around now, but basically you can see, as if you've been following my channel for any length of time here, I use Basecamp for all my client management. So these are all the tasks we've completed so far. And then today we're going to be focused on the website QA review. So that's what I need to do in a second here. And then finally the website launch task list. And then once this is all done, then we're basically going to have completed the website. And then the rest of the week, I just need to worry about some of these final offboarding tasks. Hopefully it won't be anything too crazy, but you never know with these website projects, especially with the launch process. But enough chit chatting, let's get onto the website launch process here. It's about noon. I need to break for lunch, but basically what we've done so far is complete the website QA review portion here. So I just wanted to give you an overview of what this looks like in practice. So the run site audit and resolve issues as needed task, basically what that is, I will run a site audit on the domain here. So in this case, it's the Webflow staging link. If we go to the overall issue report here on the site audit, you'll see we're at a strong percentage. There's always going to be some things that are flagged, and a lot of things this SE ranking tool does flag, I don't think are even issues half the time. If we look at what exactly it's saying here, this block by robots.txt will be done later on, and so will this, and then so will that. So this is all looking very good, and we're essentially 100% healthy there, so that is fantastic. Review the website with Responsively. It's basically an app I will use to be able to look at the website, both the tablet version and then the mobile version simultaneously. So this way I'm just able to look at it and make sure that it's responsive faster than if I were to just do it with one viewpoint versus another. Testing all buttons and links, so that's pretty straightforward. The actual site audit that's run will actually tell me if there are any broken links, but I still did in this case manually go over and check everything. Run speed test, so I basically will use the Google Page Speed Insights tool here. So basically you can just throw in a URL, it will then scan the page, and then after a few minutes or a little shorter than that usually, it'll run a quick speed audit giving you an overview on how it's performing. So last time I did this, it looked very good and we had a passing score, so that is good to see. Then spell check the website with Grammarly. So basically for that, I will just literally copy and paste all the text into a Grammarly doc, and then if there's any spelling mistakes, obviously I will correct those. In this case, there were none, so that was good. So all that's left to do then is going to be to connect the domain to the DNS, so I need to update the settings there. It shouldn't be too bad. Here's the speed test. You can see we did very well. This is a video, so honestly, it's always going to have a slower loading page if that's the design direction you want to go in, but I think in this case it's totally fine. We've done all the prep work needed at this point. The QA has been complete. So now once I break for lunch and after I get back, then we're going to go forward with getting this website live. The lunch break is over. It's about 1:15 and I'm going to buckle down for a 90-minute deep work session here with the goal of basically having the site launched live and all the major tasks handled by then, because I do like to go for a 3 p.m. or so midday break for the gym. I am going to now get back on the grind here. We are going a little bit more than I would like over the timeline today, but it's a not so busy Monday. Haven't had many clients reach out about things, so that's good. I also don't have any meetings, so I'm in complete control of my schedule, which is usually how it is 90% of the time. So without further ado, let's buckle down and get this website live. The time has come to finally connect the domain. So the way you do that in Webflow here is to go to the publishing tab. We're going to hit add custom domain. Now, I used to not be a fan of this quick setting, this quick setup process, but lately, last time I did it for a client site, it actually worked very well. And I recently did it with a website I've been working on myself. And it looks like in this case, we do need to have it manually done. However, this is very simple in my experience. So we need these two A records always. We then need this txt file. Basically, it's just like a Webflow verification thing. And then we need the CNAME, which is helpful for the www version of the domain. So I guess we'll just get started with that. The client's domain is in Squarespace, as you can see here. So I'm just going to update these records super quick. Let's see, testing this live. All right, it can't provide a secure connection. So sometimes these things just take a while to connect, so I don't really think that's anything to be concerned about. Clear the cache just in case. Actually, I think we need to make, no, we do have the www one already set by default. And then there we go. See, so in my experience, it usually is very quick with Webflow. So that's fantastic. And the site is looking very good, just as you would expect. I'm going to say we're basically good here. The good thing with Webflow is that we don't need to worry about updating the links or anything. It's all going to be updated even if it had the staging domain URL. So unlike WordPress, where this could be a very complicated process based on many times me doing this, looks like we're already very good here. We have all the things we're going to need. Yeah, we're looking good here. I do need to go through the rest of this here. So I did update the DNS settings. I'll need to check and monitor the worldwide uptime. But yeah, basically now these are the rest of the tasks I'm going to be working on. And then otherwise we can wrap this website launch up. Next step for me though is I'm going to alert the client that it's at least live on my end. And then I'm going to ask her to take a look herself just to confirm that it's live for her. It's been a very smooth website process, I would say, for sure. So we just got to keep going with it and finishing up. So I'm about halfway through the website checklist here, and everything is looking good so far. Just got to keep powering through, and then we can have this wrapped up before midway through the day. The website is basically done for the most part. It's about 98% done, I'd estimate. It's live. I did a QA check, as you saw, of course, and it all looks good. So now I'm officially ready to hit the gym, hence the hoodie, which is the only time you'll ever see me wearing a hoodie. And yeah, the client did check it out. It's live on her end. She says it looks great, which is fantastic. She did notify me of a couple like super minor errors that I will take care of once I get back from the gym here. But otherwise, it's all good to go. So yeah, I mean, I guess stand by for a debriefing once I get back. But otherwise, smooth website launch process. It did take a little bit longer than I thought, but honestly, I should always be adding some buffer time because it always takes longer than you think. But otherwise, very good, productive day. 5 deep work hours in on a Monday, so we'll take it. And now it's time to hit to the gym because I am very tired. But usually, paradoxically, after working out, you actually feel more energetic. So looking forward to getting in a solid lift. I'm back from the gym. Was a good workout considering I was actually very tired beforehand. Thought about filming myself doing some kettlebell swings, but honestly, just feeling a little too self-conscious still for that. But maybe if these vlogs go somewhere in an effort to make it a bit more cinematic, I will do that in the future one day. The website is live. It's now like almost 6 o'clock, so workday is essentially over, especially considering my client is on the East Coast. But the website has been wrapped up. Put together this little social media promotion post, as you can see here. So basically this is like an added value thing. The client can just share it on her Facebook page, her Instagram page. It's basically just a social media video that she can show of the website scrolling in mind. So it's not something I bill for, even though I probably could, but it's just like an added value thing that I like to surprise the client with at the end because it helps them show off the website. And in this way, all the social media algorithms kind of like depress content when it's featuring a link because they don't want to take people off the platform, obviously. So this way people can still check out the website, but not necessarily need to click through to it. So yeah, overall the client took one last look and did email me a couple last minute changes, but they're all very small items. None of them are urgent. I already took care of about half of them anyway. So the site is basically finished. There are a couple minor things I'll have to handle tomorrow, but also we have the whole week to finish off the offboarding anyway, so this is pretty standard. It's just kind of how it always is. Last but not least, I did want to run you through one quick thing. I'm not using the standard Webflow forms anymore because at least for some of my clients, they just have been completely inundated with spam, like to an unbelievable degree that quite honestly makes me look bad. But I've reached out to Webflow support in the past about it. They were not very helpful, quite honestly. And even though the Webflow forms now have that anti-spam protection and that anti-bot protection. I find, at least for some of my clients, that it does literally nothing. So that's very upsetting. But these days I'm using 2 new form services that are fairly good. They're definitely a step up on the Webflow form spam, but not 100%. But regardless, I wanted to show you real quick as we wrap up this video what that's looking like. I've started using FormSpark instead to connect the forms here. So let me show you what this looks like in practice. You do need to pay for it, but basically you can get 50,000 submissions for a $25 one-time cost. So it's not too bad. In fact, it's so reasonable that I'm just paying for all my clients as of this moment. So as you can see here, these are like the submissions that come in, and then you have some analytics and all that type of stuff. The main thing I wanted to just run you through, basically if you go to create a new form, so we'll just say like test form, and I'm probably gonna put out a video on this, but it's very simple. So the form's already built out in Webflow. So you just wanna select Webflow as a technology here. You hit create, and then basically in the how-to, you just need to add this little snippet of code into the Webflow form box. Then you also do need to get some custom code, at least if you want to do like a custom redirect or have any sort of like custom thank you page options. The main thing I wanted to cover is that you can then, in this spam protection field, integrate it with various different ones. So Google reCAPTCHA is quite honestly terrible. I was using Turnstile, which is Cloudflare's alternative to Google CAPTCHA. However, on one of my client websites last week, they reached out because someone was unable to submit the contact form. And when I looked into it, it basically seemed like this Turnstile solution was going way too hard with the anti-spam protection. So much so that it basically thought everyone was a bot, and then no one was able to actually submit the contact form. Anyway, long story short, the one I've been using now recently is Bot Poison, which is actually made by the same company as FormSpark. You can see here it's like cutting down spam, as you can see here. Some of these forms have been getting a lot of spam, so hopefully this cuts it down. But yeah, and then one of the benefits also is that the form submissions will be looking much better than the standard Webflow submissions, which are all just plain text. This gives people a very nice interface to look at it. If you are looking to cut down on your Webflow form spam, highly recommend you check out FormSpark and then integrate it with one of the anti-spam protection measures. All right, everyone. So thank you for watching this vlog. Honestly, I have no idea how it's going to come out, so it will be interesting to see how I edit it all together. But hopefully you enjoy this style of content where it's very info, entertainment based. I'm trying to provide you a good amount of information about the topic at hand, but also making it a lot more entertaining than a traditional talking head style video. Now, last thing I wanted to talk about as I close out this video and get ready to go on a walk and decompress from a busy day, I wanted to let you know that I have started a new agency. It is called Chatfield Square, and it's a boutique brand studio dedicated specifically to architecture and design firms. So think interior design firms, landscape architecture firms, you get the idea. As you've probably pieced together just by watching my channel, this is the niche that I have organically cultivated. So architecture, engineering, construction, design firms. And now I have an entire agency dedicated to serving that niche as best I can, focusing primarily on branding, website design and development, and then select marketing services tailored to the unique needs of those companies. So if you are in that niche, whether you're the principal of a firm, the marketing director of one of those firms, or even someone more on the administrative side of things, definitely check out that website, check out some of the case studies there. And if you want to schedule a design consultation with myself in order to improve your architecture firm's branding, web presence, and marketing strategy, then there's going to be a link in the YouTube description field where you can learn more. And on that website, you're also going to have a form, an interactive video form where you can submit it. And then basically, if you're qualified, I will reach out to schedule a consultation. So I hope this video was informative. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a good time watching, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching all the way here. Take it easy. Bye.